Guys ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 28th meeting of the Town Board. We have a public hearing and our regular meeting, and please join me while we pledge allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, may I have a motion to accept the minutes of the November 14th meeting?
Make a motion?
And a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we have two items, two public hearings on our agenda. The first is special districts, and that's at 7:05, and then the second is the local law L, the solar farms. So I think we just have to read the one public hearing notice, or is this the? They're both new, okay. It's been a very involved process with this solar law, so we never know whether it's coming or going. So, Madam Clerk, could you please read the public hearing notice for the special districts?
Please take notice that the Hyde Park Town Board will conduct a public hearing on the proposed assessment rolls that the Town Assessor of the Town of Hyde Park, Dutchess County, New York, has filed for the fiscal year 2016 for the properties within the special improvement districts in the Town of Hyde Park pursuant to local law, Section 239. The public hearing will be held at the Town Hall located at 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, at 7:05 on Monday, November 28, 2016, to hear any objections which may be made to the proposed benefit assessment rolls for the following special improvement districts: Greenfield Sewer District, Pine Brook Lighting District, and Woodland Grange Drainage. Please note that no other special assessments will be considered. Copies of the proposed benefit assessment rolls have been filed in the office of the town clerk at 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, and are available for inspection during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, from 8:30 till 4. By order of the Town Board of the Town of Hyde Park, dated November 8th, 2016, Hyde Park, New York, Donna McGrogan, Town Clerk.
Okay, well, thank you. So do we have anyone from the public who would like to speak on the special districts? Okay, excuse me. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion?
And a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we have a second local law on solar farms, and Madam Clerk, could you also read that notice?
Please take notice that the Hyde Park Town Board shall conduct a public hearing on November 28, 2016, at 7:05 p.m. at the Hyde Park Town Hall, 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, on the adoption of proposed local law L of the year 2016, entitled, "A Local Law Requiring the Owner of a Property, which includes a solar farm energy system approved pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 130 of the Town Code, to enter into a contract for payment in lieu of taxes." The local law provides in relevant part that owners or developers who intend to construct a solar farm pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 130 of the Town Code on their property shall be required to enter into contract for payment in lieu of taxes pursuant to the provisions of Real Property Actions and Proceedings Law, Section 487. A copy of said local law is available for review at the town clerk's office during normal business hours. Any person desiring to be heard on said local law will be provided an opportunity to do so at the public hearing. By order of the Town Board of the Town of Hyde Park, dated November 10th, 2016, Hyde Park, New York, Donna McGrogan, Town Clerk.
Okay, well, thank you. Would anyone like to come up and speak on the local law L, the solar farms?
Sure.
Please state your name and your address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Sure, no problem. I apologize in advance if I cough. I'm on the tail end of a asthma issue, but we'll get through it. Charles Gottlieb from the law firm of Couch White in Albany, New York, located at 540 Broadway in Albany. Here on behalf of Libran Asset Management, a solar developer looking at several parcels in Hyde Park. We just wanted to comment, we're very encouraged that the town decided to not opt out of the real property law provision and instead go with this pilot program. One minor comment we had was that the town may want to keep open the idea of negotiations on a case-by-case basis with different solar developers, as that may be. we're not saying get rid of the 75% number or that 75% cap, but you may want to keep different avenues open as they come. I saw a document from the Department of Taxation and Finance that said that solar farms working with towns might have the availability to do a purchase power agreement or some sort of net metering agreement with each other that would lower the town's costs. In such a case, you would want to be able to include that within your pilot program. So keeping the negotiations open and not limiting yourselves to just the 75% of the revenue might be something you would want to look at either now or in the future as the program continues. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Supervisor Rohr, Town Board, good evening.
Good evening.
Mike Athanas, Route 9G, 1487 Route 9G. I read this over, and it looks agreeable. I mean, it's a reduction in payments, not a complete reduction, but it's a step forward. And I wish that you would vote for it tonight. Okay? I read over the option that I have from the company that I'm working with, and they will pay other payments, pilot being one of them.
Oh, good.
So I think it's a good deal.
Good.
Thank you very much. I hope you vote on it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else like to speak? Thank you, Mr. Gottlieb, for your comments. Warren, did you want to make any
Yeah, I just
analysis?
wanted to make it clear, when we introduced this local law, there was no 70% cap on the pilot for the solar farms. And we decided internally that to put a 75% cap. So the pilot would simply be a payment of 75% of the increased value, assessed value of the property with the solar installation. And we decided that rather than getting into possible options of payments such as net metering, it would be at this point a fairly complex process that we didn't think the town wanted to go into. We're not sure how it would work. We don't know how these will really be assessed. We don't know what we're talking about in reduction of taxes. So we're leaving that possibility open. If at a later date we want to amend the law and change it to provide for other options, we will do that. At this point, we just wanted to keep it as simple as possible for the town and for our assessor, and keep it as a 75% cap on the payment. Just so everybody knows, when we started the process, it was a different local law. We amended it to include the cap, and that amended local law has been placed on the desks of the town board members within the statutory 7-day time period. So every town board member received a copy of the amended law. So in that way, we're able to vote on it tonight. We don't have to delay. So we're hoping we'll vote on the solar law amendment to our zoning law and for the tax cap at the same time. The one thing we do have to do, and I might as well do it now while I'm talking.
Can I just butt in, Warren? Can I just say something quick?
Oh,
about-
sure, yeah.
I just wanted to thank Mr. Gottlieb for his comments, and, you know, we are certainly open to, as we've said all along, amending these laws as we go forward. I think we really just want to get it going and moving, and we're always open to ideas and coming back around to it. So I hope your client will, thank you.
Yes.
And for the record, I did run all this past our assessor, who is amenable to this local law and feels she can work with it without any problem. So I did want to get back to the local law on the amendment to our zoning law for solar farms. We had accepted the Part 1 of the environmental assessment form. It is a Type 1 action, but it's one of these Type 1 actions where we're passing a local law which will provide for a review of the applications as they come to the town. So we really don't have a project to evaluate in terms of the impacts. So even though it's a town-wide change in the zoning law, which would trigger a Type 1 action, I don't feel that the action will have any identifiable significant environmental impacts. So I've taken the liberty.
Warren, this is the solar energy law? That's, because we have two in front of us right now. We're talking about the solar one, right?
Just the solar.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, for the rural events, we've already done that.
Okay.
We've
Got it.
completed the
Thanks.
environmental review. So when you vote on the adoption of the law, then that's the end
Got it.
product for the environmental review. But this, we haven't gone through the part two because we were still receiving comments. So I've taken the liberty, as I did in the rural events venue law, of filling out part two and indicating that the project, which is the adoption of this local law, will not have a significant, the potential for a significant impact on land, will not have a potential for significant impact on geological features, it will not have the potential for significant impacts on surface water, will not have the potential for significant impacts on groundwater, will not have the potential for significant impacts on flooding, will not have the potential for significant impacts on air, will not have the potential for significant impacts on plants and animals, will not have the potential for significant impacts on agricultural resources, will not have the potential for significant impacts on aesthetic resources, will not have the potential for significant impacts on historic and archaeological resources, will not have the potential for significant impacts on open space and recreation, will not have the potential for significant impacts on critical environmental areas, will not have the potential for significant impacts on transportation, on energy, on noise, odor, and light, or on human health, nor will it be inconsistent with any community plans, nor will it be inconsistent with community character. As I stated before, as applications come before the planning board for special permit or site plan review, the impacts of each specific project will be evaluated through another seeker process. So at that point, there could be the potential for environmental impacts associated with the individual project, but we can't anticipate those now as part of this. So if that's acceptable to the board, the resolution that I prepared for adoption of the local law has a resolution which indicates that the project will receive what we call a negative seeker declaration, will not have the potential for any significant environmental impacts, and a draft environmental impact statement need not be prepared. So the only thing you have to do is when you pass the resolution, that's already included in there, and the supervisor will sign Part 3, and that Part 3 with Part 1 and 2 will have to be sent to the Environmental Notice Bulletin of DEC. Donna, if you have any questions about that, I'll show you how to do that.
Thank you.
Right, well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And really, I do want to commend you for the development of the solar law and the pilot program. Very intense work, and we appreciate it, and I think you did a really good job.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
I don't know if you saw, there was an article in the Poughkeepsie Journal about solar, the potential for more solar development, and basically was saying that a lot of towns weren't sure how to manage it, and were putting in moratoriums, and of course, no one reached out to us in Hyde Park because we're way ahead of the curve, I guess.
There are, I
So-
just did a moratorium for another municipality that I represent. I think that every municipality is going to be, if they don't have it already, is going to be passing something similar to this, and certainly the ones that I'm representing are going to have
Are they going to pass
variations of
both
this.
the pilot and the?
We haven't discussed, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but I'm assuming, well, it's up to the town
Yeah,
board.
sure.
Town boards, I don't know, but they're all anxious to pass
Well, I'm
solar
glad,
laws.
yeah, I'm glad we didn't have to resort to a moratorium. It just wouldn't seem practical.
We were
you
ahead
know.
of the game.
We were on top of it. So, and partially thanks to Mike Athanas, who really advocated for it early on, so it's all good. Okay, so may I have would anyone else, no, we already closed the public hearing on the solar farms? I'm sorry, did we already
did.
do that?
No.
No. Okay, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on the solar farms?
Make a motion?
And a second?
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we now have the opportunity for additional public comment on the resolutions only. If anyone would like to provide those comments, please come on up to the podium. Okay, looks like that we don't have any further comments, so we can go on to the resolutions.
Resolution 1128-1 of 2016, resolution commencing the local law adoption process for proposed local law M of 2016, entitled A Local Law Rescinding Local Law Number 8 of 2016. So we're rescinding the override of the tax cap since we did not go over the tax cap.
Yes.
Second that.
The purpose of that is to enable the citizens to get their refunds from the state. So we don't do that, they don't get their refunds.
Okay. So may I have a second?
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1128-2 of 2016, resolution authorizing the acceptance of the 2016 Greenway Conservancy for the Hudson River Valley Trail Program Grant.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So if you just note the match in discussion, and that's 1, 2, 3, paragraph 4, the cash match will come from the rec trust fund. So just as a note for
That's
that.
great.
But most of it is really, the match is going to be in kind, which is the ideal way to provide a match.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Resolution 1128-3 of 2016, resolution accepting the benefit assessment rolls for 2016 for special improvement districts within the town.
And a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 1128-4 of 2016, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute a master contract for Hudson River Estuary Grant with New York State Department of Environmental Conservation.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 1128-5 of 2016, resolution authorizing the comptroller and supervisor to send out requests for proposals for a financial advisor for fiscal year 2017.
And a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 1128-6 of 2016, resolution authorizing the issuance of requests for proposal to perform independent audit services for fiscal year ending December 31st, 2016.
And a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just to clarify that, we had a 3-year contract with O'Connor Davies.
Right.
And TC felt just it's time to go out to bid and see whether we can get a reduced price on that. And we should be able to, because we no longer have the water and sewer districts.
The
which
books
should,
are so clean now.
you know, and should reduce the cost. So we'll be going out to RFP for those services for
Great.
this year.
It's just going to be a 1-year.
I think it might,
we'll
yeah,
decide.
yeah, because I think we wouldn't really want to commit for a 3-year term if we hadn't really had the experience with them.
Resolution 1128-7 of 2016, authorizing the implementation and funding in the first instance 100% of the federal aid and state Marchicelli program aid eligible costs of a transportation federal aid project and appropriating funds therefor. So
Second.
should I just explain what
Yes,
this one is?
Yeah,
So basically, when we got into the final design of the TAP project, the sidewalk project along Route 9, DOT wanted an extra strong stone wall along by the Antique Center, which exceeded the budget that we had available. So DOT agreed to pay for the extra to make the stone wall the
Yeah.
strength that they
Yeah.
need. So the town, of course, has to pay the contractor and then get paid back, but it's not town money.
right, so this is just authorizing us to borrow that in advance. Okay, so do we have a second?
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
When do you think that project will start?
April?
The spring, yeah.
we're-
Spring?
Yeah.
We're very close to completing the documents. There were just some final comments by DOT that are being resolved.
And then
but
it'll go out to bid.
go out to bid and,
That's exciting.
yeah, we'll
Great.
be taking the 13 trees down on Route 9, so I'm worried
But
about that.
replacing them with more.
Yeah, but replacing, we have a whole beautiful landscape design, and so it's, yeah,
That's great.
exciting.
That's great. Good job, guys.
Thanks.
Resolution 1128-8 of 2016, resolution authorizing the Hyde Park Planning Board to return the balance of escrow as approved by P. Sotero, Town Engineer, on November 16, 2016.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 1128-9 of 2016, resolution adopting local law number H of 2016 entitled "A Local Law Amending Chapter 108 of the Town Code to Permit Rural Event Venues."
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Maureen, I got to congratulate you on that one, and Victoria, too, because it was a long, we started this in June.
I know, it feels like a big day that we're getting to the end of this process.
I know
we
my
have to do a
staff is
roll
going to be
call on
happy.
these?
Can I have anything to do?
Yeah, oh, no, we've got all the stuff. Well,
Funny.
we're working on it.
Do we have to do a roll call on the law? Or-
Yeah.
Oh, we do,
Yeah.
on the local law?
Yeah, let's-
Okay, do a roll call, please.
Councilwoman Svensson.
Aye.
Councilman Marine.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
and Supervisor Moore.
Aye. Poor Donna.
Poor Donna.
Oh. Resolution 112810 of 2016, resolution adopting local law I of the year 2016, entitled "A Local Law Amending the Town Code to Establish a New Chapter 130 entitled Solar Energy Systems and Facilities, and to amend the Schedule of Use Regulations to provide for those facilities."
Can you explain what this is again?
Do you have an objection?
Do you have any changes?
Let's start all over
Can we,
again.
I'm really confused
Thanks,
on,
I'm
can you tell us
sorry,
maybe the
Grandma.
history of this? I'll second this.
Okay, and would you like to do a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Svensson.
Aye.
Councilman Marine.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Supervisor Rohr.
Aye.
Resolution 1128-11 of 2016, resolution adopting local law number L of the year 2016 entitled "A Local Law Requiring the Owner of a Property Which Includes a Solar Farm Energy System Approved Pursuant to the Provisions of Chapter 130 of the Town Code to Enter into a Contract for Payment in Lieu of Taxes."
Second.
And all in favor? Oh,
Aye.
Aye, well, actually, we're going to do a roll call on this, too.
Councilwoman Svensson.
Aye.
Councilman Marine.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Supervisor Rohr.
Aye.
Dave is missing all the fun votes
I
tonight.
I know.
Dave Ray has the flu, so
Poor
we
guy.
hope he
Just
feels
so you
better
know, but I don't
soon.
think anybody's confused, but when we adopt the local law, we don't have a number, and then it gets assigned. It has
Yes.
to be in order of the laws that we've adopted. So
It was bothering you to call it number
I
L.
hate that. I don't know why, but
Resolution 1128-12 of 2016, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute a license agreement with the Hudson Valley Railroad Society Incorporated for the railroad station building located at 34 River Road in the town of Hyde Park.
And a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 112813 of 2016, a resolution authorizing the issuance of $125,000 bonds of the town of Hyde Park, Dutchess County, New York, to pay the cost of the construction of a stone wall alongside the sidewalk improvements in and for said town.
I'll
This is a
second.
follow-up to the other.
Yeah,
And
second.
again, and please call the roll once more.
Councilwoman Svensson.
Aye.
Councilman Marine.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Supervisor Rohr.
Aye.
It's me, right?
Yep.
Okay. Resolution 1128-14 of 2016, authorize the release of a highway driveway bond for RJA Holding Incorporated.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye. And the last, Resolution 1128-15 of 2016, for a 90-day temporary full-time appointment of police officer Alan Roberts.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do we have any correspondence or news?
We have on this Sunday at 4:45, our tree lighting. We meet over at Hyde Park Methodist Church. Then there'll be a procession over to in front of the town hall where we'll be singing and reading The Night Before Christmas, and Santa Claus arrives, and it's a fun evening. I have a feeling our councilman Joseph Marine won't be here, but it'll still be fun.
You'll be reading the...
I will be reading The Night Before
All right,
Christmas.
Sounds
yes.
good. Okay. All right, may I then have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
And a second?
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
That was a very
When's our
speedy meeting.
menorah lighting?
He called today.
Oh, okay.